Hey Brew Crew, Brewer here. Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Update. Lots of activity today, so I want to dive right into it and go over my thought process on what I did. First trade I did today was on V. Initially, I decided to sell the 205 210 1/2 call ratio that costed 20 cents a debit, and I financed it by selling the 192.5 put naked. However, towards the end of the day, I actually bought back that naked put for a slight loss and then sold another 210 call, essentially turning this into a 1/3 call ratio. Now, there were a few reasons I did this. One is I didn't like how the S&P looked. Here we were trucking along, targeting the all-time high, and suddenly we just gave it all away and then fell back within Friday's range. This candle right here, I'd consider as a buyer's shutout because we basically took back the past 2 days of up move, and to me, crawling back up now above today's high would be harder. Second was, during this time when I was looking at V, I noticed that this resistance level rejected. That I was paying very close attention to even before the sell-off towards the end of the day. But when we started selling off, that's when I decided I'd rather not have downside risk with this naked put. I'd rather move it up to the call side and only have directional risk to the upside. At least that way I'm covered by the long 205 call if V decides to rally back up. Although now with this huge wick on the daily, I think it's going to be hard for it to rally back up. The third reason was the internals. Internals at around 12:15, we made our first minus 1,000 tick reading. That I really did not like, and it started to really jeopardize the whole move up to the all-time high. That move which would have pulled V and the rest of the market higher. And V is a decent part of the S&P as well as the Dow. And if that's the case, if V is going to have trouble moving higher, I'd rather be short an extra call. All right, so that's it for V. The next trade I did was CrowdStrike. This was just a super cheap butterfly that I put on where I'm seeing if the stock can make a V-shaped recovery over the rest of the week up to this trendline resistance. Obviously a moonshot, but CrowdStrike doesn't actually need to be at 110. It could go to 106, 107, 108, and the butterfly would expand a bit. Okay, again, a long shot. That's why I didn't put a lot of size here, just a one lot, so not much debit at all, but it has the potential to be a home run still. So there's that. And of course, GLD, everyone was watching this. This was a huge down move that spiked the premium all across the chain, especially in the puts. Now, it probably could be juiced up more, but when I entered, I was able to get the 177, 174.5 1/2 put ratio for a 2-cent credit. I wish it was wider, but oh well, as long as it doesn't keep tanking, if GLD can get a bounce or just drift slowly down, I think this will be safe. Now, the break even here is 172, which is near the 50 period moving average, so I'm looking for that area to hold if GLD sells off more. Remember, there will be 3 days left till expiry. And then I got some exposure to SLV. I got the 1/3, 25.5, 27 call ratio. If we're able to get a bounce, then this spread should expand nicely. And even if it's a sharp bounce, I feel like this spread is far enough that by the time SLV actually bounces near the long strike, the short calls are still going to be very cheap, while the long call should retain its premium better, especially with just a couple of days left. All right, so that is pretty much it for all the trades. I know it was a lot, but like I said before, opportunity isn't linear. There are always times when there's just more opportunity and others when there's fewer. So yeah, with that, I'll just end with a brief look at the markets. SPX, today's action completely engulfed yesterday's, and we actually opened above and closed below the high and low of yesterday. So definitely engulfing. I think things will take a pause here before heading higher. All right. NDX back to the 20 MA. This needs to hold here. In the past, we've broken below it and come back up. So that could be a potential scenario going into the rest of the week. RUT, same thing like SPX. This candle right here is definitely not going to help a continuation higher in the short term. Knowing this, you could play something that takes advantage of RUT struggling to move higher. But I wouldn't go all out bearish yet. All right, so that's pretty much it for the update, a bit longer, but as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it down below. As always, you could check out the links to our Twitter, Discord, and Twitch down in the description below. But for now, stay safe, Brew Crew, and we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.